Okay, today I'll be showing us how to edit a document and make it clean. So let's dive in. I just call this document, and then remember, when it comes to scaling, you choose the right scale, and you're not going to choose your scale in feet or in pixel or whatever. Remember that since you are dealing with documents, we are going to be working with A4 so that it can be printed out on an A4 sheet, except if your document has any other size, like maybe size of an envelope, or see the different sizes here. We have here photo card and so on and so forth. So I think we also have the size of letter, but the major one we use, we have business cards. The major one we use here is A4, which is the size of a normal photocopy paper. So remember, all your documents should be in A4. And once you are done editing, you can edit as PDF. Don't edit as JPEG. You export as PDF. So now we have opened up this particular scale. So this is A4 paper scale. So now what do? I want to import the file I want to edit. Let's say, for instance, you lost a document that was very dear to you, and there's no other way you can get the document other than maybe you have a friend that has that document, or a brother that has that same document, and what you just need to do is and you know that what it takes to have your own document back is just to edit maybe the name or some of the details, the few details that are there. You can just follow this procedure to clean edit a document. So remember, it's for educational purpose. So I want to get a particular document that we can clean edit. Let's go for pictures. Okay, let's go for this. Okay. So I just went for a random picture anyway. I didn't go for a direct A4 paper size. I just picked a random picture. That's why it does not cover the whole of this. So let's just dive into what I want to show you. For instance, if you want to edit a particular document, now when editing a document, try to make sure that you work with your zoom tool so that you can be able to see very well what you want to edit in that document. Okay, so you see that we have different lines here. Line 1, line 2, 3, 4. Line 1 has a more darker shade, like an ash, than 2, which is white. So first of all, I can Ctrl D to make that document double, separate it like as I've done mine. Okay, now that we have our entire original document duplicated into two like this, so it means that I'm going to use my crop tool. The first one, I'm going to crop the gray color so that it can be able to overlap the gray area or the gray segment that I want to edit. So remember that I'm going to crop the actual background that I need to edit the document where that particular write-up was written. So you are going to, if the write-up was written on a gray background, it means you are going to crop the gray section of your photocopy or your duplicate. If the write-up was written on the white background, it means you are going to crop the white section of your duplicate. So depending on the background of your original section. So let's just proceed as fast as possible. Now, remember I told you to always try to work with the zoom so that you can see what you are doing. Okay, now let's crop the gray section. So we're about to crop the gray section, and I'm going to do it in such a way that I will crop at least a reasonable section of a gray segment. The reason why I cropped this particular section now is because I will have cropped the entire section, but because of this plot, our data that is written here, so I couldn't get the entire row of that particular crop. So I just decided to crop this particular area that I could handle. If you observe, you might not see any gray section that you might crop that will fill the entire row. So I'm deciding to manage this because this was the one I see that at least can give me an entire section. Okay, I think I'm seeing a better segment. Okay. Seeing a better section. Let me cancel and take it from here. This is better. Okay. So okay, that's fine. So you can see that the gray section has been cropped. Now if I want to edit all the gray sections in my document, it means I need to duplicate this gray into the 1, 2, 3. So once you have cropped a particular section of your background, you can use it, you can duplicate it into as many sections as you want. So let's okay, before before I cover this gray section where I want to edit entirely, let me just duplicate the whole document again. The reason I'm duplicating it this time around because I want to also use it to crop my white section. I will crop just the same way I cropped the gray section, the same way I want to also crop one of the white rows. Trying to make sure that my alignment is perfect so that it can fit in that particular gray section. Remember, you can always work with your zoom tool. Once you zoom in, you can see this area now. You have to adjust it. I'm trying to be fast so that I can make up with time. So I was actually trying to use the ruler. You observe there is a ruler here. Once you right click, you can use the ruler to measure lines both vertically and horizontally, so that you make sure that your lines are in order. So I think this area is okay. In this area is also okay for now. I can zoom in. So I want to have the second section cropped, and the second section, is going to be a white background. So let me just, since I have a large white background at this area, let me just cut from here. I'm supposed to cut from here normally, but let me just cut from here to show you that you can still rotate this section. need to have this particular one highlighted, so that I'll make sure that I'm cropping the right area. Perfect. Now, that is a white background, so make sure that you track your white image so that it will not be lost. Okay. So I'm trying to rush up now so I can manage time. So this particular one, just use the rotation angle to rotate it, and then let me use it to edit the second row. So if you zoom in a little, you'll find out that there is a little line here. There is a little right up at this section still showing. So it means you can either use your arrow key to adjust in a little. Use your arrow key to adjust in a little. Then I think now that I am done with the background editing, what I will now do is observe your write-ups. You can see that we have a particular type of font here, which I believe should be the Arial font. So now let's use the Arial font and edit our write-up. And that is the last section I'll be showing us before I call it a day on this particular video now. So let's say, for instance, what I wanted to write here was this dollars and millions. So I will just come here so I can write dollars. Okay, and then you can reduce the font size. So if you observe carefully, you see that that font is exactly the same font that was used here. So now I want to reduce the font size. Let's see, 12. Okay, so there are two official fonts that are normally used in a document, and those fonts are: number one, you have the Times New Roman, and then number two, you also have the Arial fonts. So those are the formal fonts used in documents like this. Then I duplicated it so that it won't take me time changing the size for editing the one I want to use in writing the millions. So I can just okay. So let's have our open brackets, have our millions. The reason why I'm using these write-ups is because I didn't take notes of what I wanted to I didn't take note of the write-ups that were there formally, so I'm just using these ones for example. Then it's now left for you to know what you want to edit and put the major write-up. So that's that on the white section. Then let me use this financial performance for the gray section here. And then let me still duplicate, since they are all the same fonts and the same sizes. Okay. So for here, I'll be having financial, and then I press the enter key. Okay, since pressing the enter key, if you watch, the performance didn't start in alignment with the finance, so pressing the enter key might not give you what you actually want. So I think it's better you duplicate it and write it separately. So let's do that. Duplicate. So let's have our performance here. Okay. Then once we are done with the editing, once I write this performance, I'll leave you to edit the rest. Okay, so you see that this particular section is ready. So on your own, you can edit these ones and make it a full document that it was initially. So now, having edited your document perfectly, the next thing you do is export. There are different types of different ways of exporting documents. So for an official A4 document like this, what you need to export it to is you export as PDF. So you can see it. You export as PDF format. There are different types or ways you can export. If you export as this JPEG, JPG, you are exporting it as an image. If you export as PNG, portable network graphics, you are exporting it as a removed background. So all these other formats are also ways of exporting, but the major ones we have here are the PNG. The ones we use majorly are the PNG, JPEG, and PDF. So for documents like A3 or official documents, we use the PDF. So we can hit export now. So once you export, click OK. Once you click OK, your document is set. Once you go to Documents, you can go to File, under Downloads. Under Documents, can see our document here. So once you print it, it gives you the exact document that you misplaced. So that is it. You can see it. So take care. See you in the next section. Goodbye.